Hello, my name is Julie and this is KS Mom Crochets, and today is Crochet Podcast number 51. I got quite a few things to share with you all. I got startitis this week, and so I've started quite a few new projects. I finished a few things, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I finished is a little bookmark, and this is a pattern by Crocheting with Alana. It's called the Simply Elegant bookmark. You make it with crochet number 10 thread. You could definitely make this with other sized yarn as well. You would just have to alter how many chains you did across, but this pattern would be very easily altered to use yarn with as well. But I absolutely love this bookmark, and I had got some new crochet thread and I wanted to use it, so I put the this that I used is called Garden 10 crochet thread in the color khaki and the color sun gold, and I used a 1.75 millimeter hook because, like I said, it is crochet number 10 thread. But I just absolutely love these bookmarks. I've been using them like crazy, and I know there'll be more that I make because they're very addicting to make because they're just so easy. They're just so easy to make. So I made that, and then the next thing that I finished, let me get my notes because I did not even grab them, is my gnome. The Passionate Crafter has a gnome along going on right now. It's every month she releases a new gnome or gnomes, because in this case there was 4 different options. There was 2 different girl gnomes and 2 different boy gnomes that you could choose from, and this is my gnome. So I know it's not Valentine's Day anymore, but I finally got him finished, and I really do like how he turned out. Now, I did do quite a few things different, as I normally do when it comes to gnomes. I think that hers is really, really cute. If you follow her pattern, she does show you how to use yarn for a beard in this one, and she also has a crocheted beard as well, but I use the needle felting wool. Let me tell you what I used first. I used the 2.75 millimeter hook, and I used all Chepier's Katona cotton. I used the color Shell for the skin tone, which is number 255. I used Snow White for the heart there, and that is number 106. This color right here is called Marshmallow, and that's number 518. The hat, the red here, is called Hot Red, and it's number 115. And then this body color is called Light Silver, and it is number 172. So now I took her boy gnome, and I did her boy gnome, but I gave him the girl gnome's hat. So I didn't do the one that had, because she has one that has like hearts, like tapestry or graph or whatever, all the way around the body. I just did the regular body style that she had, and I did follow her body style. The only thing that I did different is I put that simple stitch in the bottom, around the bottom here, and then I added my cardboard so that he would stand up nice. Like I said, I made the hat exactly like she said, except on hers she does double crochets for the last like 3 rows, and on my first gnome that I made, which is way over there, I can't reach it, but the first gnome that I made, I was just going through the pattern looking at numbers. I didn't really pay attention to the stitches because I assumed that it would all be single crochet, and so I had done single crochet for those last 3 rows on my last gnome, so that is what I did on this one because I really liked how that it looked. I did do the crab stitch or the simple stitch all the way around his hat as well, and I also, on her pattern, she has the heart hanging upside down, and I looped my yarn through the middle of the heart the best that I could, and I chained up like 5 or 6 and then looped it through the top of the hat there, and then slip stitched back down to the heart, to make the heart hang right side up. And then I think on hers, she only, on the boy hat, she uses like 2 heart appliques. And then on the girl's hat, I think she uses 3, but I kind of got on a roll making these, and I made like 4. So I just put them all on there because I thought they were cute. And I really do like that heart applique. I think it's really cute. Another thing that I did is I stuffed the hat, because I don't think she stuffs her hats as well. And I think that's about it, but I really do like it. I think it turned out really good. I think next time I make a gnome, I'm going to not do that last increase, because his hat is like really big. I had a hard time getting this one to fit. I don't know if my tension was looser or what, so I'm going to try that if I make another one. I'm not sure if I'll make next month's or not. I just kind of go by if I'm in a gnome mood, I guess, which I'm usually always in a gnome mood, but you know, and if I like the way that the gnome that she releases looks and I feel like making it. So here is my Valentine gnome by the Passionate Crafter. I think that's all that I have to say about that one. I'm going to set it up here all the way. And then the last thing that I actually got finished is going to have a little bit of a story. So we're going to go ahead and tell you all that I know this video is going to be pretty long, because I do have 4 works in progress, and then like I said, this one has a little bit of a story to it. So I have mentioned before on my channel, I know I have a lot of new subscribers, but I know a lot of you all have been with me since the very beginning. So if you have watched any of my videos previously, you know that I love Lucy. The show, the TV show, I Love Lucy. I love Lucille Ball. It's not just that show. I love all of her shows that I have watched. I just really enjoy her humor and her just the good feeling comedy that she brings. You know, it's something that you don't have to worry about watching when your kids are in the room, you know what I mean? Like, and even my kids love Lucy as well. So I got this I Love Lucy Barbie doll. I just got it this past week. I've been wanting one of these since I was like 9 years old, because my cousin had one, and hers was in a box. You know, she didn't play with it or anything because it's a collectible doll. Now this one had already been opened. It had been used. Her bows are fraying. You know, this doll was made in the late 90s. So I got her for a pretty good price, I feel like, on eBay, and I'm so happy that I did, because I absolutely love her. Well, I had her sitting on a shelf, and if you guys remember, for one of my Stitch Your Libraries, when I did that video series for a short time, I made this doll, Little April. And so they were sitting on the shelf side by side, and I was like, I could totally turn that doll into a Lucy doll. Now, I did buy an I Love Lucy crochet pattern on Etsy, but I was so intimidated by that pattern. You used pipe cleaners and you had to crochet around them. It was like a 20-page pattern, and I was like, there's no way. But I did take a few of the techniques that person used in that pattern to make like her hair and stuff, and but what I'm saying is, I seen this doll sitting there and I thought I could totally make that into an I Love Lucy doll. So that is what I did, and I'm so proud of her. And here she is. So I made my very own I Love Lucy crochet doll. So she doesn't have polka dots like the dress on that one does, but I tried to get her as similar as I could. Crocheting it wise. Here's the back of her. Let me set this Barbie back. But I used this book right here, which is Sweet Crochet Friends by K, and that is the book that this Little April doll is in. I just grabbed the bookmark too. But this is what she looks like in the book. But I wanted to use the basics of that doll to make this one. So I followed the pattern almost exactly. I just didn't, I omitted some of the color changing. Like on that doll, it has socks. The ruffle around the neck is a little bit longer. She has like more of a frilly sleeve. Obviously the hair is different. And the shoes, there's like a strap on the shoes. Well, I wanted these to look like little, you know, high-heeled, I guess, black shoes, you know, like the doll has. So I started the pattern just the way that it was, but whenever it told me to change for the sock, I just changed to the skin color, and I went all the way up, and I did give her, oops, I forgot to sew in the end. It's okay. I'll fix that later. But I did give her underwear, and what you do is you leave some front loops for her dress, and you actually crochet the dress onto the doll. Now, I know you can see the skin tone through this dress, but in real life, without the light on there, you can't see it. But I used a mishmash of yarns, which is what I do a lot of times when I don't have the colors in a specific yarn. I will just mix my yarn and use what I've got. And I used Chevier's Katona yarn, 2.75 millimeter hook, and I used the color Shell, which is number 255, Snow White, which is number 106, Jet Black, which is number 110, and then I used this yarn called Drops Love You 7, which is always sold out on Wool Warehouse, but that is where I got it. For her hair, I used the color Rust, which is number 34. Her lips, I used Crimson, which is number 20. And then this dress right here is a yarn that was discontinued. It's called Drops Love You 9 in the color Navy, and it is number 113. And so that is the colors that I used. I also gave her fake eyelashes. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but I tried my best to use fake eyelashes because Lucy obviously has her signature look in that TV show and a lot of other shows that she's in is the big red lipstick with the fake eyelashes. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that. I can't really explain exactly what I did. Now on little April, she does not have like a nose and a mouth and stuff, but I did try to whip stitch a nose. I tried to make her lips look like lips, but I'm not very good at embroidery. One of these days, if I get better, I may try to redo her mouth to make it look better. And then I just chained up a train because she does have that white, she does have like a white ribbon in her hair or bow or whatever. So I'm really happy with how she turned out. I had a really hard time because it's like I was following the pattern, but I was also adjusting it to make this doll. Like I was changing the pattern even though I was following it. Like I actually, because in the pattern the head and the body are separate pieces, and I figured out how to make them all one piece. Also, I had to figure out how to do her hair the way that I wanted it, because I wanted her to have, you know, the bangs like this doll has, and I wanted her to have the bun in the back of her hair, or the ponytail, or whatever that is. So I had to figure out how to do that. So what I did is I started following the head pattern, but this yarn is thinner than the Katona. So I had to increase more for the wig cap, and I just kept going until it was the way that I wanted it to. But on the first 3 rounds, wait, not the first round, but the next 3 rounds, so rounds 2, 3, and 4, I left the front loops open. That way that I could just add my yarn and do chains, and I single crocheted 2 back into each chain, and then I would slip stitch like 2, and then chain again, and I just kept making chains until I felt like that she had enough hair on top, and I followed that all the way around those 3 rounds to make that ponytail like that. And I really like how that it turned out. It was very frustrating. I got very frustrated with this, but I'm so happy that she's done. I may eventually go back and make her an apron like the doll has. That is something that's included in the pattern that I bought. So I'm thinking that I may follow that and see if it will fit this or adjust it to fit this doll. I felt like there was something else. I may, she does have buttons down the front of her dress. I didn't do that either. I might go back and do that too. I'm not sure. But I'm really happy with how that she turned out, and I'm so excited to have her done and to be able to share her with you all. That's one of the reasons why I haven't made a podcast, because I was trying to finish her, because I have worked hours straight on this doll to get her done. And so here she is. Here's the back. Her collar's not perfectly straight, but I think it still turned out pretty good. I think I did good on her, so I'm very happy with her. And just one more time, here they are together. So not perfect, but definitely close enough that I think that you can tell with the person that I was going for. So that is my last finished object. Now I did start some new things. Well, one of them you seen last week, which was, and I think everything that I started came out of a Crochet World magazine. So I kind of was trying, because I knew that I wanted to start something new. Well, I'll go into that in a minute. So I pulled out, I showed this magazine last time. I had started the Granny Square Turtles out of here. If I can find it. I just seen it. Here it is. So I started these Granny Square Turtles, and I did finish the body. I just have not made the head and the legs because I got distracted with that doll. But I will show you what the body is looking like and tell you what I decided to do, because I was going to use green for the body, but I changed my mind and just use this gray. So the body is going to be gray. So actually the body of the turtle looks like a little pillow to me. I have a friend, Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. She sent me a picture of her Granny Square turtle that she made, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that in right here, just to show you all, because I wanted to talk to you about something that she did with this pattern that I did not do. So in her Granny Square turtle, she said that she didn't like how you could see the stuffing through the holes, and you can see my stuffing through the holes, but she decided to use a pantyhose to put her stuffing in, and I just thought that was so awesome. Like, that never crossed my mind. I've heard of people doing that before, but I don't know, I didn't even think about it. So that's just a little tip. If you ever make something like this, you use pantyhose to cover up the stuffing and make it not show through or not come through. And I just think her Granny Square turtle turned out so cute, and that will give you an idea of what mine is going to look like. Obviously I still have to make the head, like I said, and the arms and the feet. What are they? Feet. The 4 feet. And then it'll be done. So it's not going to take very long. I just got distracted. But for this, I am using this pattern is called Granny Turtles, and it is designed by Amy Durable Crochet, and it's in the Crochet World magazine, April 2023, which is the one that just came out. And I used a 3.25 millimeter hook on this, and Brava Sport from crochet.com, in the color Mulberry, which is that pinkish color. Yeah, that's not right. Mulberry is the purple color, and then Dove Heather is obviously the gray, and then Fairy Tale is that pinkish maroonish color right there. And so I'm going to make the head and the legs out of the gray, dove gray. I was going to use that green, but I got to thinking you're not going to be able to see the safety eyes because that yarn, it was just too dark. So I decided to go with the lighter color instead. And in the picture, they pick one of these colors and then they, you know, like make the head and the pieces with that. So I thought I would just do that too. But like I said, you can see my stuffing, so I wish that I had used pantyhose like she did. That was just so genius, Kathleen, and I will remember that for other projects in the future, because that is a great idea. So thanks for sharing your picture and for that great tip. Also, there was another thing. There is, I think, an error in the head pattern of this, but it's very simple to figure out what you're supposed to do, I believe, just by looking at it. Kathleen had told me that she thought there was one, so I looked, and I do believe there is one, but I don't think that it'll be hard to fix that. But usually on Crochet World, on the Crochet World website, they will have like revisions for their patterns, like if there is an error in their magazine patterns, and you can go on there and search for the pattern. I didn't see one for this particular pattern, but I'm sure if there is errors that they will put that on there, because they're usually pretty good about that, because I've had to do that before. So that is work in progress number 1. Now the next thing that I did is another Crochet World magazine. I was gifted a bunch of Crochet World magazines and I was just going through them because I love to look at them. I just sit and look at them sometimes when I'm bored or I don't feel like crocheting. If I'm really tired and I don't want to crochet, but I want to look at crochet stuff. And just to get inspiration too, because I do want to work out of patterns that I own more than I have in the past. I want to, because I have got gifted a lot of patterns and I do have a lot of books. So I want to work out of what I have as much as I can or want to. So I was looking through my Crochet World magazines and I found this Crochet World right here, and it is February 2009 Crochet World. And in this magazine is a rug, and you use 3 strands of Red Heart, or they use Red Heart Super Saver, 3 strands held at once to make this, it's like a doily, like a giant doily rug. And I was like, I love that so much. I want to make that. So I started it, and I am on row 13, and there are 18 rows. So I'm almost done with it, but it really started making my shoulder hurt, because it calls for a 9mm hook, but I really wish that I had went up like a lot, like a couple hook sizes, because it's almost like crocheting a flat basket. And if you all have made baskets before, you know how hard it is on your arms and your shoulders to crochet baskets, because you're crocheting really tight. So I have this yarn right here. It is Stitch Studio Earth Tone. I had got this from AC Moore. They are no longer in business. This is discontinued, and I have had this for years, and I'm trying to work my way through it. And I thought, what better way to stash bust this yarn but to make something big like that uses 3 strands at once, you know, get rid of it that way. This color right here is called Navy, and there is a lot of yardage in this. There's 612 yards in this, and it is like a tweed yarn. So I'm using the S method, which is a way that, I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it is a way that you can use 1 skein of yarn, but you can use 3 strands of that same skein at once. And that way you're not having to use 3 different skeins, but that only works obviously if you are using one color throughout. So that's what I decided to do, because I have made blankets like that before in the past, and anytime that you're using 3 strands of yarn, this is like, and it's one solid color, this is like an awesome method to use. That way you're not going to be left with a bunch of partial skeins. You can actually get through, because I've already went through a half of one of these and I'm working on my second one. So I'm thinking that it might take all of that one, maybe more, I'm not sure. But this is what I have so far, so I'm still, it's kind of hard to see because it's navy, but I'm working, I'm finishing up the point of the star there, just to refresh your memory. There it is. So I'm about right in here somewhere, so I still have a ways to go, and obviously the stitch count gets more the bigger that you get, but it's going by really quickly. It's just I kept messing up, so I had to rip out I don't know how many rows over and over and over again, and I could not get them right, and it's because I was tired and I was trying to follow a pattern when I should have been doing something mindless. So I got back to where I started, and I just quit and started working on that doll instead. So otherwise this would probably be done. But I'm making it to go right here in the floor in front of my yarn, because I have hardwood floors, and I think it'll be really pretty on the floor. So I know, like I said, I know it's hard to see. Whenever I get it done, I will take a picture of it. That way I can pop in a picture of what it looks like all finished. So that is that project. Now I have looked online to try to find this pattern. That's the only thing about working out of my older crochet worlds, is that it's almost impossible to find some of these patterns. And I know that when I watch people's videos, I want to make some things that they make, you know, and I'm going to try, whenever I make a pattern out of one of these older crochet worlds, if I can't find the exact pattern, to at least provide an alternate pattern that is similar. So I do know, because whenever I seen that, it reminded me of Angelia over at Crocheting House Mouse. She has made some mandala rugs as well, and they are absolutely beautiful. And I was going to make the one that she was making until I seen that pattern, and I thought, I've not made anything out of this magazine, so I'm going to make that one. So I will find her video where that she shows her rug. That way you can go and check it out, and maybe if you're interested in making a rug like this, then you can go and get the pattern that she used. So the next thing, I think this is the last, no, I got 2 more. So the next thing that I made, or that I'm working on, is I had a yarn haul. What did I do with it? I had a yarn haul from Hirschner's, and I wanted to use that yarn. Like, I just could not wait to get into that yarn. So these next 2 projects are made from the yarns that I got from Hirschner's, or I'm working on from Hirschner's. So I have made this blanket before, but I made it into a baby blanket, and I used a speckled yarn, and this is the Hirschner's Specs yarn in the color Misty. And whenever I made that baby blanket, I said I want to make that stitch pattern again and make it into a blanket for myself. And whenever I got this yarn, whenever I seen this yarn on their website, that is what I immediately knew that I was going to make out of that yarn, was this blanket, because it's just the perfect yarn for this blanket. Now, this pattern comes out of the Crochet World August of 1999. So this one is even older than the other one, I'm pretty sure. And it is called the Butterscotch Shells Afghan, and this is what it looks like when it's done. So it's really, really pretty. Whoops, I'm dropping it. It's really, really pretty. It's got that border around it, and I don't particularly like doing borders on Afghans because it takes forever. It takes forever. And I hate it. Like, it's like weaving in ends and doing borders on blankets are two things that I just loathe. I don't like doing it. But I am going to do that on this. I'm hoping that I'm going to have enough yarn to do it. We'll see. Because when I first got that yarn, I was like, oh, I could just put white and do a white border. What do you all think? Do you all think that I should try to do the whole entire blanket in this yarn, which is working out so pretty? I love it so much. It's just so simple but beautiful. And I love the stitch pattern. I think I'm holding it upside down. Yes, I am. So it's like a shell, and then it's a 2-row repeat. You have your chains, and then your double crochets with your shell, and then the next row, you know, you do something a little bit different, but it's just absolutely beautiful. Now, Creative Grandma does have a, I don't know if it's a blanket pattern or stitch pattern, I can't remember, but she does have a tutorial for a stitch that looks similar to this. It's not the same stitch whatsoever, but it does look very, very similar. So I will have that linked below, because this is another pattern that I was not able to find online anywhere. Like, I've searched because I want to share what I make with you all, you know, and so I try to find it, but like I said, that is an alternative. It's kind of similar, but it's different. But it's very pretty too, and I would like to do that one eventually. But I will have it linked below. But what do you guys think about, should I do the whole entire blanket in this color, or should I do the border in white? I'm not sure. I think it's going to depend on how much yarn that it uses, because I'm not through a full skein yet. This pattern, it calls for 2 strands of yarn at once, but I think the yarn is very, very thin. I'd never heard of this yarn before. They used a 4-ply yarn. I'm not sure what size yarn that is. And it's Bernat Barilla yarn. I never heard of that, but using a this is a 4-weight yarn, and chaining what they said, this is how wide that it is, like the body of the blanket without the border. So I think that yarn that they used is a lot thinner, but I just absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. And here is what I have left of my first skein. So I'm loving working with this. It's so soft, and it's definitely something that I will get more of in the future because I love it so much. And I'm really enjoying working on that blanket. So the last thing that I started is another thing from my yarn that I got from Hirschner's, and I'm using this Hirschner's worsted stripes yarn in the color Pretty Peacock, and it's just really, really bright and pretty and cheerful. And on that yarn haul video, I did say that when I seen this yarn, the only thing I could think of was putting it with black and making just squares. That's what I wanted to do with this yarn. I had seen a video from Nancy at She's Got Yarn Too, where that she had used scraps and black to make squares, and they were so pretty. And so whenever I seen this yarn, I was like, that's perfect. I want to do that. Put this with black and make squares. So that's what I've been doing. And I have worked on this squares more than I have the Butterscotch Shells Afghan. I did make all of my middles because I'm just doing granny squares. Obviously no pattern for this. I'm just doing granny squares. But for the black, I got some, what is it called? Bravo worsted yarn in the color Asphalt Heather. So it's not like a true black. It's more like a charcoal gray. And I made a bunch of centers up because I'm not sure how far this yarn's going to go. I only got one skein of this, and obviously now I'm regretting it, but we'll see how big that I can get it. But this is what I have left, and here are the squares that I have made so far. And I am joining them as I go. So I haven't weaved in a lot of the ends. I think there's only one square that I've actually weaved in the ends on, and I don't even know where it's at. I think it's this one right here. This is the only square that I've weaved in ends. But I'm just doing, like I said, the granny stitch. I'm doing 2 rows of black, 3 rows of that striped yarn, and then 2 rows of black, the striped yarn, and then on the third row, or this last row, I'm using the black, and then I'm joining them together like that. And I just think it's going to be so fun. Now I am turning, like chaining 3 and turning the squares every time for every row to keep that slant so that my squares don't slant. I am doing that, so it's making some of the colors like go on top of each other in certain places. I was trying to find a good example of that. Like here on this one, it's like you see what I'm saying? Like I had to put the green back on top, but I still think it's turning out okay. I'm really loving it, and this is just a fun, simple project to do, and I'm having a lot of fun making these. These are 12-inch squares, so I'm not really sure how big that this is gonna be. It may end up being like a smaller blanket because I do have a niece. I think she's 3. And maybe this would be something for her if it doesn't get big enough. But I've only got 5 squares done. 5 squares and less than half a skein, so I don't think it's going to get very big. So we'll see how big it gets. But I do love the way that those colors look with the black. So that is my last work in progress. So I guess I've been pretty busy. I have had, I did have an extra day off work, and work was just brutal. It was just brutal. Let's just put it that way and leave it at that. And so I needed a day off. So I took a vacation day just to give myself a little bit of break. And I have been like completely just dead all week. Like seriously, like so tired all week. And so I did start a couple mindless projects because of that. Because I wanted to crochet, but I didn't feel like I didn't have the mental power or you know, the mental capability to follow a pattern. So it's nice to have these simple, you know, simple granny stitch pattern to follow, you know, just to do without having to think about it. Now I did get some acquisitions, and I know this video is like super duper long, but oh well, that's just how my videos are, and if you don't like it, then I'm sorry. But I did get some acquisitions. I got just some big twist yarn from Joann's. Nothing spectacular. I haven't even took it out of the bag. And it's just black. I just needed some more black, so I got 3 skeins of this because I got 20% off my order and free shipping that day. Or maybe it was like $2.99 shipping. I can't remember. But like I said, this is just big twist value in the color black, 380 yards, 6 ounces, 347 meters, or 170 grams. It's a 4-weight yarn, and like I said, just black. But the other thing that I got is super cool, and I am excited to share it with you all. So hold on. So I did get this acquisition. I was perusing, obviously, got some black yarn, but then I was perusing through and I seen this on Joann's website. Is an art bin store in George, And this is what it looks like on the packaging. This was the packaging from it. And it's a 39 drawer multi-purpose storage cabinet. And they say you can use it for scrapbooking, sewing, quilting, needle arts, beading. So all it basically is it has a bunch of drawers. And they do stop, like they won't fall out. You have to pull them out. But I'm using them for safety eyes. So I got, I get these safety eyes most of the time that have a card in the little, it's in like a little case, and it has a card that tells you what millimeter they are, and I just cut that card up and tape that on there for right now because I don't have like a label maker, or I can't, you know, I'm going to try to make the labels better, but for now, that way I don't forget what millimeter these are, and I can just pull them out, you know, without having to measure them or anything. But the drawers are very wide. The only thing about it is it does have these spaces to put dividers in, but there's no dividers. Like, you don't get any dividers. So, I've got safety eyes in the top. A lot of these are still empty because I haven't figured out what exactly I'm going to use them for. But then I have buttons in all of these. These are like my glitter safety eyes that I didn't want to like separate out because I don't use them a whole lot. So I just have a bunch of different stuff. And then these drawers are a lot bigger. So there are 30 small drawers and 9 of these big drawers. So they're the same length, but they are wider. So they fit a lot more. I'm trying to put that back in there. So here are the dimensions of that. But I'm really happy with that. And I feel so much more organized. I just dropped that. But I feel so much more organized. I still, you know, have stuff here and there and everywhere. But I'm trying to get my stuff organized. That's one of the things that I wanted to do this year. And I'm well on my way. Figuring out what you know, how to like organize my stuff and fix my stuff up. And this way, whenever I need a specific safety eye or whatever, I don't have to go digging, you know, where did I put them at? You know, I can just come in here and get the ones that I need. And I will always know what millimeter they are, so I can take that little tool I showed in last week's episode and last week's podcast, and figure out what millimeters they are, because I did get these. And they don't have any millimeter on them whatsoever. So, and I don't want to mix them with the ones that I've been using for a long time, because I liked those better, but these were cheaper. So I thought, I'll try the cheaper ones. Now, I would have rather paid a couple extra dollars and got the other ones. But, like, these are supposed to have like 6 through 12 millimeters. But like the 6 millimeters in these are not the same size as the 6 millimeters in those. So that makes no sense to me. That is my acquisition. And so I guess I'm going to go, because I have kept you all way too long. I'm hoping that when I edit this that it shortens a lot, because right now we are pushing it. I can't help it. I really enjoy talking to you all. I love showing you what I'm doing and hearing your input and getting your advice and your tips. And I'm just so thankful that I decided to do this so that I could meet all of you and talk and interact with all of you. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what I've been up to. And until next time, I will see you in another video. Bye.